Using heartbeats as song bass, right theme song for the ICU.
Intentionally competent.
Providing intensive care for global mind. Tackling war propaganda, power to put global conflicts under the microscope. Exposing the system's lies and hidden hands that keep the war machine alive. From Gaza to Tehran, Washington to Tel Aviv, we dig into the facts, the headlines skip, the history they distort, and the human costs they bury. No political PR, no sanitized sound bites, just raw, verifiable truth, served with moral clarity and zero fear. In the ICU, we don't just treat the symptoms, we diagnose the disease. Here we never rant, we refrain, always while sending love to our nervous systems. Remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead is your guiding staff. With ICU, may you diagnose wisely, resist kindly, and reimagine boldly. ICU. You not believe, want you know that I do, I want you know that we feel, don't just chew the field, the something we do. And no political bearing, no sanitized sound bites, just raw verifiable truth served with moral clarity, zero fear. In the ICU, we don't just treat the symptoms, we diagnose the disease. Here we never rant, we refrain, always while sending love to our nervous systems. Remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead is your guiding staff. With ICU, may you diagnose wisely, resist kindly, and reimagine boldly. ICU.
Welcome back to ICU, where inner consciousness is unraveled and the intentionally competent you begins to reassert your clarity in a culture that's not only confused, but has been found to be morally wanting. I'm still here, still your infinitely reluctant therapist to the national and global psyche, yet still seated across from Uncle Donald, and now across from the most challenging and significantly more elusive antagonist, your moral compass. This, like I tell you week after week, has never been and will never be armchair therapy. This is psychodigital excavation. Today's episode is called The Master of Corruption. Donald Trump and our global moral crises. This is ICU, where we don't rant, we refrain. I'm your host as always, Dr. Epie, guiding you through the psychodigital landscape, shaping our world. Today, we tackle corruption, the erosion of character, the compromise of integrity, and the weaponization of power through the lens of Donald Trump, a global symbol of moral decay. I'll take that line again. Donald Trump, a global symbol of moral decay. Corruption as a symptom of societal decay is a significant assessment. Corruption isn't merely a political ailment. It's a reflection of societal character. Whether political, communal, religious, or individual, corruption thrives only in fertile grounds of compromised ethics. Trump's presidency was not just a political event. It was a symptomatic aspect of deeper moral failings that we as societies have tolerated for far too long. Hear me now, clearer than ever. When integrity becomes negotiable, corruption becomes inevitable. Maybe you guys didn't hear me again. Let me take that line back. When integrity becomes negotiable, corruption becomes inevitable. That's the simplest fact of life that guides our choices and decisions. Trump. Every day on TV you hear that name called. Every day. We are numb to it. We are numb to his antics. Trump is a case study in moral bankruptcy. And we know how he likes to file for bankruptcy. Donald Trump didn't invent corruption. Not even close. But he would take credit because he takes credit for everything else. But he masterfully normalized it. His presidency was marked, or is marked, by an unparalleled volume of ethical breaches. From overt nepotism and emoluments violation to undermining democracy itself. Trump's infamous call to the Georgia Secretary of State asking to find him 11,780 votes was not an isolated event, but emblematic of his character. One that is devoid of respect for democratic principles. He emboldened unethical redistricting, voter suppression, and overt attempts to strong-arm public officials into compliance. We all are tracking what is happening, where Texas, just from a phone call from him, chooses now to redistrict just to gain 5 Republican seats. And look at what this causes. Because other cities, especially blue-led states, can't stand for this political rigging. They too now are engaged in redistricting to try to negate what Texas is doing on the behest of who? Our corrupt leader. Sometimes you just have to breathe out. Breathe out to be able to deal with this. Because each of these incidents, or each of these instances, was not merely political maneuvering. It was corruption manifest, cheered on by a morally compromised party, unwilling or unable to challenge him. In true form to the predator that he is, Uncle Donald is preying on your moral weakness and exploiting your vulnerabilities to foster his agenda. And his agenda has always been singular: self. So, ask yourself this. What is it about you that makes you susceptible to moral exploitation? What fears lie deep within your nervous system that find comfort and solace in a morally bankrupt caricature like Trump? To him, exploiting naive little girls falls in line with exploiting weak egos with compromised integrity compasses. And all of this in service to self above all else. We can all attest to the fact that corruption has infiltrated every corner of life. Corruption penetrates far beyond the political arenas, manifesting even in sacred spaces like churches, educational institutions, community organizations, to name a few. We've all heard and experienced corruption across the globe, from Africa to Asia, across Europe and the Americas, in every facet of life, from airports to churches, federal buildings to prisons. The evidence is undeniable. We have clergy exploiting congregations, educators compromising integrity for personal gain, and government officials and community leaders prioritizing personal interest over community benefit. Each instance underlines the pervasiveness of corruption. So, let's continue unpacking our moral compromise. What drives this widespread corruption? Most individuals understand the difference between right and wrong, as we've all been programmed to understand it. Yet, fear of losing status, fear of losing power, fear of losing security, often create a corrupt justification for moral compromise. Our communal spirit is undermined by individual anxieties, which distort our ethical clarity and reinforce systems of corruption that is evident across the globe. Let's examine the global echo, resonating yet ignored. Corruption as a worldwide crisis. And as your disaster and crisis therapist to the national and global psyche, this is an aspect that I see clearly, more so than others. Corruption as a worldwide crisis. If you look at the globe, look at most countries that are suffering, where development has been stymied, corruption, lack of integrity is at the forefront. Trump's corruption had global reverberations, normalizing authoritarian tactics worldwide. Leaders around the globe saw Trump's brazen disregard for accountability as permission to exploit their own corrupt ambitions. Look at from Bolsonaro's Brazil to Viktor Orban's Hungary. Corruption metastasizes rapidly, thriving wherever moral accountability is weak. Talking about weak moral accountability, let's examine Republicans and the moral compass that they lost. The Republican Party's complicity is especially alarming. Once vocal about moral leadership, the party has traded its moral compass for fleeting political power, failing to hold Trump accountable at every juncture. Senate acquittals during impeachment trials, despite overwhelming evidence of misconduct, underscored the party's ethical collapse. A political party willing to forfeit ethics for power invites corruption to become its guiding principle. That is what the Republican Party has become, even more so under Uncle Donald's bully purview. His morally wanting knee is choking the life out of the grand old party. And none, I repeat, none, have the courage to fight for the life-sustaining grace of honesty and integrity. But in ICU, all's never lost, because we are still capable of strengthening our moral fortitude. All we have to do is leverage our personal internal controls to tap into our inner authority, employ African wisdom and military values. Combating corruption requires leveraging inner authority, drawing strength from African wisdom traditions, and adopting military value systems that emphasize honor, integrity, and accountability. In inner authority, what do we always say? Trust your moral intuition. Inner authority enables you to discern right from wrong, empowering ethical clarity amidst societal pressure. And what does African wisdom teach us? There are African proverbs that remind us, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Collective accountability fosters community resilience and moral integrity. And what do military values teach us? Honor, discipline, courage, and accountability. And we can tell the Grand Old Party has lost all of that. Values instilled within military training offer powerful tools to uphold ethical standards, maintain integrity, and moral clarity, and also confront corruption decisively. What's our path to ethical restoration? Restoring integrity demands collective action. It means choosing leaders who embody transparency and ethical clarity. It requires institutions robust enough to withstand manipulation and communities courageous enough to demand accountability. That's where I leverage the cultivation of personal internal controls to tap into your inner authority for higher living. There are some things that should never be compromised. Our moral compass is one such thing. Like I always say, I am not an island of knowledge. Each individual holds a piece of the solution. Through informed voting, civic engagement, and uncompromising ethical standards, we can reclaim our inner selves. Yes, we can reclaim our moral compass. Yes, we can establish parameters in place to eradicate all corruption. In closing, I wanted to remind us that corruption at its heart is an issue of character. Uncle Donald's mastery of moral compromise exposes a deeper crisis, a global pandemic of ethical decay. To dismantle this corruption, we must choose clarity over convenience, integrity over expedience, and courage over compliance. I emphasize courage because we have entered a period with significant opportunity for the courageous. Thank you for joining me in ICU this week. And as always, like we say here in ICU, remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking forward with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead as your guiding staff. Until next time, may you diagnose wisely, may you resist kindly, and may you reimagine boldly. Please subscribe share, like our channel. Remember to always breathe. And never forget to send love to your nervous system. I see you.
Using heartbeats as song bass, right theme song for the ICU.
Intentionally competent.
Providing intensive care for global mind. Tackling war propaganda, power to put global conflicts under the microscope. Exposing the system's lies and hidden hands that keep the war machine alive. From Gaza to Tehran, Washington to Tel Aviv, we dig into the facts, the headlines skip, the history they distort, and the human costs they bury. No political PR, no sanitized sound bites, just raw, verifiable truth, served with moral clarity and zero fear. In the ICU, we don't just treat the symptoms, we diagnose the disease. Hearing never ends, we refrain always while sending love to our nervous systems. Remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead as your guiding staff with ICU. May you diagnose wisely, resist kindly, and reimagine boldly. I see you. You not believe, want you know that I do, I want you know that we feel, don't just chew the field, but something we do. And no political bearing, no sanitized sound bites, just raw verifiable truth served with moral clarity, zero fear. In the ICU, we don't just treat the symptoms, we diagnose the disease. Here we never rest, we refrain always while sending love to our nervous systems. Remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead as your guiding staff with ICU. May you diagnose wisely, resist kindly, and reimagine boldly. I see you. We never ICU, we don't just treat the symptoms, we diagnose the disease. Here we never end, we refrain always while sending love to our nervous systems. Remember to always carry what serves you, release what doesn't, and keep walking with your ancestors at your back and your inner compass ahead as your guiding staff. With ICU, may you diagnose wisely, resist kindly, and reimagine boldly. I see you.